What's going on, everybody? It's the Bearded Buffalo coming to you today with some more Divinity Original Sin. I think we're on episode 3 now. I think we were up in the library when we ended the last episode. One person to talk to. We just met Jahan, a new member to the party. So let's jump right in. I'm excited to continue chatting with more of the townspeople, collecting some more quests, I guess we'll call them, and continuing this investigation of Jake's murder. Okay, so we just met Jahan, and I think what's next here is we want to talk to... Oh, I pushed the wrong button, but I think there are a bunch of... bunch of books here that we might be able to borrow. Let's talk to Victoria.
In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal, be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine.
Ooh.
I am
Victoria, who are you, madame?
Daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicil toward the sea.
Should have named you Moses.
The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot.
Is it Moses?
For I am an orc, after all.
I don't know.
But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride.
May I take books from the library?
The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow, so that others may enjoy them too.
I'll take my leave. Outstanding. I think if I remember right, this Philosophy of Death book is one that we'd like to grab.
Place this book here. A volume of poetry among novels? Rack! What mayhem.
Okay, let's head downstairs. There are a couple things we probably should read, so let's do that. Let's open up the inventory and let's read some of these things we should be reading. Like these... Source Hunters, your orders are to investigate a recent murder of Councillor Jake and inspect the city of Sicil for evidence of source magic. Your liaison in Sicil will be a wizard called Aru, who is anxiously awaiting your arrival. Due to the nature of your mission, we've put at your disposal some of the most powerful spells and magics known to the Order, but treat them with caution and tread with care. Scrolls such as these are very rare. We'd advise you not to blow through your entire arsenal at once. Good luck and Godspeed. Signed, Captain Watros. Okay. There are other things that we should read. Yeah, here we go. Old parchment. This came from that tomb. Gravekeeper Ragequin. Tend to the graves in the antechamber before moving into the inner rooms. To proceed, stand very close to the impressed door and press the button that appears on its right-hand side. We already did that without even reading that. Alright.
Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
Okay, here's the book we just picked up. The Philosophy of Death. Let us briefly discuss life and death, the great opposites, the great equals. Death is greater than life, so saith the priest, for in death comes the gods' just reward. But if this be true, whether that reward shall be the solace of heaven or the agony of hell is decided during one's lifetime, and therefore life is much greater than death, for it is a decision maker. And what of those who care not for the gods, who question the afterlife, the existence of deities? Life is life's own goal, they say, a wise sentiment I echo, and that even priests would do well to heed. But oh, how often does doubt assail these revelers of life? How often does fear approach with the creeping of the shadows? So great becomes the looming horror that death becomes larger than life, and death becomes the greater force. Forget the promise of the gods, I say, but defy the fear of oblivion as well. For only if life and death become each other's equals can the philosophy of death become one of life. Death is the instigator of faith and fear, but only if you let it be so. If you can gaze into this obsidian, if you can gaze in, oh my gosh, sorry. If you can gaze into its obsidian eyes, knowing it is the be-all and the end-all, but fear neither, then shall you have reached the shores of wisdom. So saith Nemrus. Sorry I stumbled through that last little couple sentences there. So embarrassed. Jehan has nothing. Are there any other books or papers here? Orders, we already read those. Crafting and cooking, I don't really want to read that right now. I just don't feel like it. Maybe I'll read that off stream. In the Adventures Field Guide, Volume 4.
Volume 1, Volume 2.
Alright.
But where's the third one gone?
Let's head downstairs. Still in the mayor's chambers. Charlene.
A sauce
I don't think we've talked to her yet.
Oh, what a sight for sore Sicilian eyes. Me?
Tell me about yourself.
I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now. Oh, he's always
What
been
happened to your
something
brother
of a
Tom?
rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, I've always loved that scamp to bits. For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Aureus now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. That band of... I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them on some mission to God knows where.
I'll take my leave. New entry added to the log, so new mission. Alright, so I know that we need to go talk to Captain Aureus, and he should be in the barracks. So let's head that direction. I believe he is the one who needs to give us permission to investigate. Let's see what this is.
Greetings. These stores are...
Can't talk to pets, sorry.
He's already on the menu for tonight.
Isn't it a chicken's destiny to be eaten? We should catch it and give it back to the cook. A chicken has a right to live too. I think we'll help him catch it.
Destiny to be eaten. We should catch it and give it back to the cook.
True story. Indeed. Perhaps we too can have a bite later.
Oh, we got Heartless +1 for that. Stuck to the cook.
Close. Thanks for catching Fidgety Jack here. I guess he got nervous when I mentioned... let's have that bird then, shall we? Our troops are mighty hungry.
Oh, that's it? Can we trade?
To see what delectable dish I've crafted from that pesky poultry, have you?
Tell me about
Chef
yourself.
Maurice, the one and only culinary connoisseur capable to make a dish for an army with little more than a single chicken.
Oh, he does just say he has food here. What's this? A fire absorption scroll. Enchant self or ally with a fire shield. A fire shield absorbs fire damage until it breaks. And then the same thing here for frost. Interesting. I think we have enough food. I don't think we need to worry ourselves with that. I'll take my leave.
I wish for you to try it, Screech Woman. The beast speaks, so you've half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
What's happening over here? Somebody's in a cage.
And aped an air of aptitude.
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
A curious situation you've got here. This woman in the cage under arrest?
If you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
And what'll become of this admittedly strange creature? Stranger. Admittedly strange. Stranger.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Perhaps it'd be worth taking this stranger under our wing. She'll likely come in handy if we can
Perhaps
trust her
it'd
to
be
watch our
worth
backs.
taking this stranger under our wing. She'll likely come in handy if we can trust her to watch our backs.
After all, a fearless hunter might prove quite
After all,
useful
a fearless
in our
hunter
investigation.
might prove quite useful for us.
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after
Sorry.
all, Tull.
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder. And don't turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
Okay, she's gonna turn on us, they're saying. What's her name? Beardoter. Beardoter, I don't know. But she has a dagger and a bow that we can quickly give her. Let's do that. Give her her dagger and her bow. Does Ritman also have a bow that might be better? Sure, we'll give her that other bow. Sounds good. And let's chat with her.
I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our kind. In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
There is little in our world more variable than the minds of man. It is a source of great beauty and much despair. All of it uniquely human. We take each in stride and prepare for either. You'll find your fellows surprise you, for better and for worse in equal parts, Beardoter.
It is difficult for me to claim humanity as you do.
I'm just gonna call her Baird.
I am still learning to see myself in the faces of those I meet. And those I meet do not always see themselves in me. It is strange to stand with one foot in the forest and the other in the city, Source Hunter. I am glad that now I have you standing beside me.
Alright, let's check out her inventory. I think we need to probably equip her weapons. Yep, but let's compare. 28 to 48, 17 to 29. Alright, so hers is better. And it looks like she has poison arrows, stunning arrow, and fire arrows, as well as a resurrect scroll. Nice. How do I make this like her secondary weapon? She's level 3. So is Jehan, by the way. I don't know how to do it. Well, I'm just going to leave it like this then. I thought there was a way to switch, but nope. That's okay. We'll give her a bow for now. And we want to hop in to here to talk to Captain Aureus. This is... oh, shoot. We need to have Memphis in charge here. Not Baird.
What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do
This
what
guy
you
sounds
must
really
in
aggravating.
Sightseal, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs. You hear? I'm
Tell
Captain
me about yourself.
Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Sightseal. By which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. For I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into driveling hordes of their own misshapen number. God,
Let's discuss Jake's murder.
Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother. But he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand?
This guy sounds like he's going to be a pain in my A.
Of this town. Not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined. but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you!
In regard to Jake's wife, Esmeralda.
Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're
Take it
going
easy,
to stand
guy.
there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition.
I'd like to ask some additional questions.
You must.
So your main problem is the undead.
Figured that one out, did you? I haven't been stuck here for 2 years because we're being besieged by fluffy kittens, you know. Those brain-feasting freaks out there keep on coming. And it takes all the sword arms and all of Ahu's half-baked contraptions to keep them at bay. Keeping them at bay, that is all we do. Were that I could break their backs once and for all.
Tell me about the
We are
Legion.
the pride of Riverlon, to be found and to be seen everywhere. We don't hide in the dark and lurk in corners like some I could mention. No, we protect the civilized from the barbaric, and we do so impeccably.
What, in your opinion, are the Arks doing on the
they're
beach?
looking for weak spots in our
Orcs,
defenses.
not Arks.
They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion.
Haru tells me he suspects a sect might be at work around Sicil.
And he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. He'll be seeing flying carpets next.
Let's change the subject, and I will take my leave.
If you must.
Whoops, wrong button. Sorry, y'all. I will take my leave. I think Aru's upstairs. I don't know if we really have anything to talk to him about, but I would rather just check it out now than have to come back here because I want to talk to him about something.
Source Hunter, welcome, welcome.
Let's talk about Source Hunter
By all
business.
means.
Let's
Of course.
discuss Jake's
I hope
murder.
your investigation fares well.
What happened the night of the murder?
Piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a rather disappointing meal, I'm afraid. They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was soon joined by a man who had been nursing the same cup of wine for hours. I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. Soon after, a terrible commotion erupted and the thundering light of magic was witnessed by the few remaining patrons. It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. When finally he did, he found Jake there, dead. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. The traces of magic I felt were vile. Source, no doubt.
Who, in your opinion,
I
are the
myself have
suspects?
none. Even though the rest of the town has already mentally tried and convicted Jake's wife, Esmeralda. Now, it may well be established that she is in fact the guilty party. I'm not claiming that I'm certain she's innocent, but let's just say that if I really thought this murder case would be so very easily resolved, I wouldn't have sent for source hunters.
Is there more you can tell me about the strangers that
I
seem to
can't
be in
say
league
much
with the
more,
orcs?
But that they're madmen. All the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry.
I'll take my leave. We've got a lot of places to discover yet, but I think we should head back to the king crab and investigate the crime scene and see who else is there. And I think I know that there's going to be another party member there, potential party member there, so we might dismiss Baird here on our way. But first, let's chat.
A sight for sore eyes, if ever there was one. I know you're probably
Selenia.
knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, we've been conducting a series
Legion
of
needs some help.
expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success.
With whom do I have the honor of
Lieutenant
speaking?
Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second in command, but rest assured, I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I
Good.
certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction. The undead.
Let's discuss the
I
undead.
pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Sicil, after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death.
I appreciate that. I'd like to talk about some matters
I shall
concerning
be
the
very glad to share
Legion.
what information I can give you.
Let's discuss the expeditions into hostile
If
territory
ever
you
we want to
mentioned.
be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising.
I would
Under
agree.
the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that. But so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation. The lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church. Places fraught with danger all. There's a
Regarding the
lighthouse
lighthouse.
to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night.
Creepy.
The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety.
So,
There are
about the
ancient
burial
grounds
mounds.
to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local
would.
archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them.
Let's
There's a
discuss
church
the old
to the
church.
northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery.
That was a bold move.
All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition.
You mentioned a pact you made with
So
your
I
legionnaires.
The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Cool. I'll take my leave. Okay, let's head back towards the King Crab Inn. I think it's this way. Yeah. And I think we'll dismiss Baird when they get here.
Well, hello there. say you will take me under your wing. But I see no feathers.
Oh.
Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears?
A child of bears?
And so
What does
the
that mean
lonely babe
exactly?
was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind, he thrived among his mother's ilk. So says the saga of Threes. Do you know it? The wise godwolf Amira raised the child Threes among her litter. So you see, I have good company. Threes the wolfson, and I the bear daughter.
The bear daughter. The bear daughter. I meant that I would be responsible for you.
In truth,
I'll keep
this
you out
is
of trouble.
relief. Your world is made with rules I have not yet memorized. I am happy to have a friend in such a place.
I'd like to ask
freely,
you a
my
few
friend.
questions. So you were raised by
Your
bears
city is
in the wild?
far more wild than Home Forest. In Home Forest, the rules are clear. In Home Forest, your strength and speed determine your fate. Here, a tiny screech woman, no swifter than a mudworm, might confine you into a tiny cage, and one must wait for a kind stranger to grant freedom.
How did you come to
Jarrett.
learn to speak?
Wise Jarrett taught me the bird songs of our people. If not for him, I would never have learned more than the beasts could teach me. A beast's life is to survive. A human's is to know. I am both beast and human, and so I must do both. He came
Tell
to
me
me
about
when I was
Jareth.
small. A fierce, wild one, yet unaware of the difference between the other cubs and herself. He called to me in a soft song. At first I thought him a great bird. We each reached out to the other. We found each other. Jarrett visited me often. And in time I learned his songs and more. When he built a small cabin within Home Forest, I hunted his food and fetched his water by day while he studied his books and his magics. By night, by the fire, he'd tell me tales of the world of people. Jarrett is my master and my friend, my teacher and myself. He teaches me and I care for him.
Weird. You seem to know quite a lot of history for the daughter
I
of a
have
bear.
learned
How is
all
this
the bird
possible?
song that Jarrett
Yeah, I
could
knew she
teach.
was going to say Jarrett.
I remembered every word. These tales have brought me much pleasure. The remembering of the beasts is without lies. We know not to approach the wasp's nest because long ago one bear mother discovered its dangers. This she taught to her cubs, and those cubs taught the next. We do not remember Rito and the battle of the buzzing brutes. We remember only what is useful to us now. Rito will be forgotten. The beauty of the story will be forgotten. But the lesson will not. It is different between beasts and humans. I am lucky to enjoy both ways.
Why have you come
heard
to
this was a place
Sicil?
of many people, so here I came. I have seen more faces here in a day than I had seen in all the days of my life together. But I have not found the face I seek. Jarrett is missing. It is my duty to find him.
Have you any clue where Jareth
is
might be?
Thick and ugly as a swarm of hornets. It started with a great disturbance in Home Forest. A terrible disease came in the night and turned the birds and beasts soft and foul as carrion while they still lived. I watched countless of my loved ones die, rotted from the inside. When I ran to
What?
Jarrett to tell him what I had seen, his reaction was strange. He had no answer. The next morning, Jarrett did not emerge from his room. I left him be, but after 3 days I grew anxious. I broke down the door and inside his chamber was nothing. His equipment, his books, all but some scraps of parchment were gone.
I wonder if
He
Jareth
was
did that.
kidnapped, and all his research was taken with him. The only clue I found was a letter among the scraps. I could not make out all the words, but I recognized the threat. Death, coming for you. And the signature? Attenborough. I do not know the one called Attenborough, but I know that if I am to find Jarrett, I must start there. Whoever this Attenborough may be, I believe he or she may know where Jarrett has been taken.
Interesting backstory, Baird. But I need you to leave my party for now because I think someone else is... We're going to be meeting someone else soon.
Right, my friend. But I will stay far away from this screech woman. Perhaps among the crowd at the alehouse is best.
Good call.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You
This
are
guy's
the
long-winded.
source hunter, are you not? The hero the whole of Sightseal is abuzz about. The talk of the town. The juiciest grape on the grapevine. Such a pleasure to... No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. It is an intervention of fate. Yes, that's it. Fate has put me on this very spot, so I may tell you all about a most intriguing opportunity indeed.
About that opportunity you
It's not
mentioned.
merely an
I'm just going to skip to it.
opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to become better. To become the full extent of the promise that is locked inside of each and every one of us. So first of all, let me ask you this question. Do you like adventure?
I'm here to do my duty, which is hardly the same as
I'm here
adventuring.
to do my duty, which is hardly the same as adventuring.
Agreed. Adventuring implies frivolity. Duty does not.
You may tell yourself you dislike adventure, but the mud on your boots and the blood on your blades say otherwise. One wouldn't become a source hunter if one didn't relish the exhilaration of battle, the lust for hidden knowledge and secrets. Too bad your line of work comes with such measly recompense. Am I right? The wage of a mere soldier. Now, between you and me, tell me truthfully, don't you sometimes wish you could earn more?
Well, I can't say that I
can't say
haven't.
I haven't.
Yes.
Yeah, some extra gold is always welcome.
Indeed. Indeed, gold is
Oh, we just got a
always welcome. And
personality,
among the fabulous
egotistical,
five,
plus
gold
1.
flows as freely as water does. Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes.
Get to the
Am I
point,
right? All
Mendius.
those orders. Investigate this, retrieve that, and at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? Wouldn't you prefer to call your own shots? Be your own boss?
There is no shame in following directives if your masters are worthy of your trust.
There is no shame in following directives if your masters are worthy of your trust.
I forget that sometimes they say the lines and sometimes they don't, so I think he'll say this line.
True enough. We serve a just cause, so why wouldn't we follow our orders?
Come now. I refuse to
Obedient
believe
plus
such a
1.
uniquely skilled individual would settle for a puppet's role. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding. Am I right?
No one said I'm a puppet.
Of course I am.
Take it easy.
I could help you attain the dream. Enact the change you deserve. And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab. So that I could meet you.
Tell me more about the Fabulous Five.
Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers guild in Riverlon. Our mission, to better the world. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my abilities. But if not, how about we get started?
I'd like to enlist. Make a little extra coin. Sounds good to me.
All you need to do is
And I'm
sign
pretty
this
sure that
waiver,
there are some
and
quests
just
for
like
this.
that, snap, you're
Join guild, better the world, earn a lot of gold. Yes,
Join a
count me
guild,
in.
Better the world, earn a lot of gold. Yes, count me in.
And me. May all the riches in the world be ours.
May all the riches in the world be ours.
Marvelous. Magnificent. Oh, but what am I saying? Fabulous is the word. You may not realize it yet, but your fortunes, your very life is about to change for the better. So let us
He's got an assignment for us, so
it's a
about my assignment.
straightforward task, this one. Now, in this town dwells a wizard. Ahu is his name, and he's a frightful eccentric. Scientific type, you know the kind. Favors reason over faith and all that. Not Fabulous 5 material, him. His experimental weapons may keep a couple of skeletons away from the city, but many of his other researches failed. Malfunctioned with tragic consequences. One of them was a big lumbering apparatus, a frightful automaton shaped like a giant made of steel. It was supposed to crush the undead by the dozens, piloted as it was by a trained legionnaire. But you can guess what happened. Did it become sentient? Was it cursed? Whatever the cause, the thing relieved itself of its pilot and headed north towards a network of caves. Now ask yourself, what if it comes back? It could smash the city walls and claim 100 lives before being subdued. Luckily, there are those in this world who belong to the Fabulous 5. The braves who eat such monstrosities for breakfast. Go, my friend. Find this wizard's abomination.
That sounds like a fun mission. I imagine that we are not ready for it quite yet, level-wise, so we'll pump the brakes on that one a little bit. But let's ask about this Tom fellow.
Tom? Doesn't ring a bell. Oh, hold on. Yes, of course, Tom. One of our most recent additions to the Fellowship. Brave kid, smart as a tack. He'll prove to be a wonderful addition to the family yet.
No additional questions on that topic, so I'm going to take my leave. And let's head into the King Crab. And there's Baird.
Back,
Here's
demon.
Medora.
Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days. I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West.
She's a source
aren't you?
hunter.
Give Captain Wartruce my regards next time you see him.
I hadn't heard of another source hunter being assigned to Sicil.
Heavens
What are you doing
hearts.
here?
That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. Hunter's Edge by name. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. Preferably with their horns in their suitcases and a knee-knocking fear of ever crossing paths with a sauce hunter again. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicil. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs without backup. Well,
What's your next plan of attack?
I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now, but perhaps that's where you come in. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town. I've been scouting Sicil for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the Counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator.
So that's your proposition? You help us here in Sicil, and we help you take back your home village thereafter?
Well, you know the old expression. 2's a tea party, 3's an invasion. I know this place like the back of my hand by now, and the orcs up north will be short work for a trained-up trio of sauce hunters.
A fantastic plan, with resource hunters working in tandem, will put an end to all the evils bent against this fair
A
land.
fantastic plan. With 3 source hunters working in tandem, we'll put an end to all the evils bent against this
And he
fair
said the line.
land.
Thanks a lot, pal.
Another source hunter on the team will make us all the more formidable against this wicked magic. Welcome aboard, Medora.
That's the spirit. Listen closely now. Do you hear it? That's the sound of every...
Let's talk to this Duke of Farrell. This Duke of Farrell is the man that was having an affair with Esmeralda, Jake's wife.
Like our noble Captain Aureus before you.
I've heard quite the story involving you and Esmeralda.
She and I have a history. That's hardly a secret anymore. I quite doubt it was even a secret from Jake while he lived. As easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or I assure you that the affair was never so steamy and sordid as the busybodies around town make it out to be. Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection.
Oh, he's no fan of us.
He had his interests, she had hers, and there was little passion left between them. Certainly not enough to fuel a murder.
What do you know about Jake's murder?
News. I won't posture and say that the Counselor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wished the man harm.
I think I'll take my leave, Duke. Don't leave town.
The likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
I believe this is the room where the murder took place. But I'm going to leave this episode here. I think we're already about over 30 minutes. Actually, could be a little ways over 30 minutes. But anyway, if you guys are enjoying this series or enjoying the story here, please smash the like button. It really helps me out. Helps me understand what my audience is interested in and what they're not interested in. Any ideas of games I should play outside of this, let me know. My intent, just so you know, is to complete Divinity Original Sin and then start playing Pillars of Eternity and have both of those up on the channel here, and then eventually when Divinity Original Sin 2 comes out, the full version, I know that there's like an early access out now. When the full version's out, we'll play through that as well. But otherwise, as always, thank you for hanging out with me, and I will catch y'all in the next one.